Hey everybody, what's up? So a while back, Vampire Mike of Sega CD Universe um, posted this clip from something and asked what it was from. So after a little bit of digging, I found it was from a movie called Forbidden Empire. Um, this is actually a Russian-made film with a couple of English actors and nobody else I can pronounce names, so I apologize. One of them is, if I can remember this dude's right, Jason Fleming, I believe Fleming, Flemyng. Excuse me. I know he's been in a few movies. Um, don't ask me what. I don't remember. I looked it up. I was trying to find out where he was from, and the movie's loosely, yeah, really loosely based off of a folklore story called, well, I'm gonna spell it VIY, which is basically about this student priest who is asked to pray over this girl's body for 3 nights, and in this thing VIY, I don't know how to pronounce it. It's Ukrainian, I believe. Is this demon that basically has, stop it, these huge huge eyelids, and like they basically have to be lifted up to see his eyes, and he can see anything. And the story, from what I gathered, if even if you draw a chalk circle around yourself, which in folklore is supposed to protect you and make any evil not be able to see you, if he sees you, anybody can see you. And the main character of the movie, Jonathan Green, finds this out. It basically starts two different ways. The first is that we have Jonathan Green, a cartographer slash geographer, who is in bed with Lord's daughter. Lord comes up and finds the two in bed. Jonathan runs off and he's like, I love you. I'll come back and marry you. Blah, 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 blah. And he escapes. The second part of it comes from, this village where these girls have these uh, floating candles on wreaths, and they're talking about. You hear this voice talking about how, somebody touches one of these wreaths, then they're part of their destiny. Apparently, this movie was shot in 3D, but there aren't any 3D scenes. I'm kind of well, I don't know. It's they say it's shot in 3D, converted basically into 3D, but it's kind of weird. This is listed as an action movie. It says 111 minutes, and from what I've seen, but that's not right either, because this is in about an hour 51. There's like, the information on this video is really bizarre. It says an 18th century explorer sets off on an epic journey to map the forbidden uncharted lands of Transylvania, which is not true. Only discover its dark secrets and dangerous creatures hidden in a cursed fantastical forest. Basically, he gets lost. Yeah. He goes through Transylvania, through the Carthaginian mountains, ends up in this town, and he doesn't know where the hell he's at. He's being chased by these weird creatures at one point, and he'd run into these two seminary students and like, oh yeah, don't go there. He gets to a certain point, they're like, yeah, we're not going any further. We had a bad experience. They talk about their bad experience. The clip Mike posted was like of these weird ogre demon looking dudes. It's like, trust me, it is really bizarre stuff. I don't even know where they came up with these things. I really don't. These little imp-like things are flying around, and at one point, and he almost eats one, and that's how we're introduced to this demon thing. Some of the stuff that doesn't make sense is like, when these demon things are flying around, Jonathan has a vision of the demon with all the eyes, but he's not attacked. He wakes up all covered in, whatever flour or whatever, and everybody is good. And this old crone that owns this place is like, oh, do what you were told. And they don't explain, like, I don't want to say it. They don't explain a lot of the stuff because, like, the student priest is supposed to stand over her coffin. I've shot this 3 times already, 3 or 4. I'm not redoing it. He has like this weird vision of her, and he's found passed out. He's supposed to be dead. It's weird because they're talking about how she's this witch or something. This girl basically dies. Sorry, I forgot that part. I was like distracted for a moment. This girl dies. She's the local lord's daughter, and she says she wants the student to read prayers for 3 nights when she dies. But they talk about her being a witch and all this stuff happens. Cool visual effect, which I love. They're talking about like one of the things that happened, but it doesn't make sense. Basically, she's like controlling these weird branches, and it looks like it's mouth snapping open and shut, and it's like going around these walls, and it's like going around this protective circle that he drew for himself. So all you see is just like these branches. Excuse me. And so that's really cool. But what the girl's doing at the same time is like basic horror stuff. So this movie, by the way, does call itself an action movie, which is bull. It's not. It's like suspense, maybe supernatural. They have some weird stuff in here. I mean, really weird stuff. Um, at one point, they're talking about Robinson Crusoe and how the Lord's daughter thinks she's like on some sort. Jonathan's on some sort of uh, island with all these savages. Now, here's the thing. Okay, this is kind of a weird subject to go into. Time is weird in this movie because it starts off in 1701, and then they don't tell, and basically goes in whatever around the same time. With her talking about Robinson Crusoe, she had a surprise. Oh yes, for her daddy, which I'm surprised wasn't noticed. And after that surprise, she's talking about Robinson Crusoe. So the timeline doesn't match up because Robinson Crusoe was written in 1719. I think they're supposed to be a movie around 1701, something like that. And I'm like, okay, no, that doesn't work because of the time frame. Yeah, it's odd. And then there's supposed to be this dude or this beast rather, that has like 7 horns, and it's got like this animal skull on it, and people are like, you're just like thrown off. They don't explain why this one chick is mentally off her rocker. She basically, her friend died. She goes looking for a friend of hers. Her friend rises out of the water, grabs her leg, and she gets rescued by this beast. When she falls into the water, her friend grabs her leg. You don't know what's what. It's so discombobulated because like there's bits and pieces that talk about it, And the priest basically in this town doesn't want anybody going to the church. He's like, okay, um, this thing, this church is going to be desanctified. He starts preaching in town. Um, so you wonder, did like this girl's spirit come back? Was she doing weird stuff? He thinks the priest who's supposed to read this stuff is dead. Um, and then you find out what happened to him later on. It's it's kind of like two stories at once, and apparently the character of Jonathan is actually based off of a French guy. I'm not going to repeat his name because, yeah, I have no freaking clue how to pronounce it. From like this dude was from from 1595 to 1685. Don't ask me. But basically, this guy studied Slavic myths and legends, and so he became like the prototype. A lot of this was shot in areas like Van Helsing was, The Brothers Grimm, Chronicles of Narnia, Hellboy, which is interesting, in Prague. And they had to build like an entire city, for what was going on. So I thought that was kind of cool. And the thing about the movie that I really like is the fact that you almost can't tell what is fact and what is fiction in this movie because it's so hard to understand where they're coming from with lots of this stuff. It doesn't have subtitles, which is agitating because I was watching this on the TV. I couldn't hear certain parts of it, so I had to run it on the computer with my headphones that I can literally hear better out of. And even a couple parts, like the mic wasn't close enough or what, I don't know, because like stuff was so quiet. You have to go back and re-listen to it. It is dubbed from English, from Russian to English. But I'm kind of wondering, because there were a couple of people in there who actually speak English or native English speakers, did they just have them speaking in English while other people were speaking in Russian? I don't know. There was like, trying to think of the name of the movie where everybody spoke their original language, so it'd be easier to just like dub it. I can't think of it now. It's gonna kill me. I know it, because I saw something about it on the Cinema Snob. And I can't think of it, darn it. But yeah, the visual effects are great. The little winged rats are amusing, kind of disgusting though at the same time. The weird part of it, the really weird part of it, really boils down to you wish the storyline was a little bit better. They're loosely basing it off of a folklore story, an alleged folklore story, but there's a narrative after Jonathan runs away from the Lord's house, and it doesn't make sense why they're doing this narrative, because ultimately, parts of it lead to later on in the movie, almost near the end, and it just gets weird. It's like they take snippets of the movie and rearrange it to be confusing. So I don't know. It's a good movie. I had to look it up on Amazon. There is no rating on this. There is some brief nudity. When I say brief, you can see a little bit of TNA. There's this line of, doesn't make sense. All women are witches, and they have tails. I didn't see any tails except for the ones on their behinds. Their behinds. They call that tail. And they don't have no tails, like a donkey tail or whatever. Well, one scene you kind of think you do see that. There's one scene where it's like a silhouette of a naked woman, but it gets really weird. I would say probably watching this a couple times to try to fully get the understanding of it would be best. But it's not a bad movie. There's just some stuff that could have been done better. They're supposed to be working on a second one based out of China that's supposed to have like Jackie Chan's stunt people helping out. That would be great to see once it comes out on video, but I really wish they would have done it at a subtitles. I know there's also supposed to be, I think they said it's released in VHS, which doesn't make sense. There's a Blu-ray, and this is actually regular DVD. So they said the Blu-ray was converted into English, but this is the regular DVD version, so I don't understand. It was made by this with help from the Russian film group. Theatrical release was released in VHS and DVD on June 14th. Yeah, June of 2014. Why would you release? I don't get that. Why would you release VHS this day and age? I don't know. Blu-ray, the theatrical Blu-ray version of this movie was dubbed into English and was released in the U.S. May 2015. But this is not a Blu-ray version. And I actually didn't see any Blu-ray versions of this unless I was looking. I don't know. And it ran fine on my computer and doesn't say anything about being a Blu-ray. So, yeah, I'm not really sure because this, I don't know. I think some of the film information, especially was like on the back of this, like they actually have like pictures from the movie. Um, there's supposed to be like bonus features, making a featurette, Jason, whatever last name pronounced, interview, behind the scenes footage, trailer. Yeah, I don't know. It was released in 2014. Clearly, here in the States, this would have been a direct-to-video movie. They said it's supposed to be like one of the highest-ranking movies in Russia. But if you like, if it sounds interesting, go check out the trailer. If you like it, if you see the clip that Mike found, I couldn't find it, so I'm sorry. I would have posted a link to it otherwise. There's a lot of different movie clips from it online. If you see it and like it, go check it out. It was not expensive on Amazon. I think you can get it even like if you have an Amazon Prime membership as a direct deal. I don't remember. I just wanted a copy of it so I could watch it, and especially because once I found out there was no subtitles, I'll probably have to watch it a couple more times to get everything. But that's it, everybody. I'll talk to you later. Take care. Bye.